Well, we have a whole bunch of support conversations to get through still. I'm probably gonna wind up cutting it up into parts there if I remember to. And see about that. What other conversations do we have left? We have a freaking... We're probably never going to have this many conversations again for like the entire rest of the playthrough. Like all at once like this. Unless I do something like this in Conquest as well. I don't know. Oh no, oh dear. Princess Sakura, you keep making little noises like that. Is something wrong? Well, what is it? Well, you see, the oppression of our modern society is it's just... Yes? Are you sure nothing's wrong? Yes, sorry about that. Like, imagine if Sakura just got into something like that just hit super close to home of like, you know, something in the real world, something like that. That would make the player just go like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, imagine just one of those completely unexpected moments. Yes, sorry about that. I'd have something very impolite to ask you. Oh dear. Ask away. I won't judge. I really mean no offense by this. But, I mean, you see... Oh, I can't do it. I just can't ask. Deep breaths, princess. In, out. No, I can't. What is it then? Excuse me, Silas. I'm so sorry. What in the world was that all about? Should I mention this to someone, or... Should I report it to the appropriate authorities? Well, maybe not just yet. I'll keep an eye on her and see what happens. Well... Okay, we're getting more conversations here. May I have a word with you? Of course, Silas. How may I help you? Look, I don't know how to say this without sounding rude, so I'll be straight with you. I could make so many jokes about... That sounds ominous, but please, go ahead. There's no need for secrets. That's ironic coming from Azura, but... Funny you should say that. You're the biggest secret keeper in the whole army. I'm afraid I'm not following you. You hardly say 2 words to anyone. You're obviously hiding something. So, what exactly are you up to? Trying to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula? Your disguise won't fool me this time, Plankton! Excuse me. Listen, maybe others fall for this mystery thing you have going on, but not me. The war's at a critical point. We can't afford to drop our guard. I have some serious questions about your loyalties. You're a spy, aren't you? Silas, I apologize if I've given you that impression, but no. You see, my true identity is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Honestly, I don't have any secrets, and I'm certainly not plotting against our friends. Our friends? Let me tell you something. My closest friend trusts you. If you ever betray Harmonia, I will never forgive you. Do you understand? Perfectly. Well... Oh yeah, because Final Fantasy II is a game about sadness and death, your 4th party member rotates over the course of the story. Because they all die, so your party is effectively 3 members in the sense of long-term party building. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wind up sticking with my Fire Emblem for now. If we do hop into a Final Fantasy game one of these days, I do plan on eventually picking up a PS5 when it goes on sale on like a Black Friday sale or something like that. One day after some amount of time has passed. And I probably would get into the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And from what I've heard, it's way better if you've played the original first. And there was that whole thing about me trying to play Final Fantasy X on the channel a long time ago and having it go horribly wrong. So if we ever do cover a Final Fantasy game on this channel, it'll either be 7 or 10. One of those two. I don't really know much about Final Fantasy though. Each of those 4th party members have their own styles. When did that game come out? Like what year? Silas and Hana. I believe that these are the 2 that are going to pair off. Like this is the one that Silas, I do plan on having him pair off with and such. Hana, there's something I'd like to talk to you about. What's that? I was like, what kind of voice do I do for her? I don't like her voice in this game. It may not be my place to say this, but what was wrong in that battle? Excuse me? I heard that you're considered one of the best samurai in Hoshido. I was excited to see your technique in action and had high expectations. To tell you the truth, I was a little disappointed in your performance. What? How dare you? Your first blows were surprisingly weak. And you don't even try to anticipate and counter the attacks from your enemies. You appeared uncommitted to the battle, putting yourself and your allies in danger. Well, I didn't sleep very well last night, and I skipped breakfast this morning. Usually I'm a lot better than that. Why is it that you've taken up the sword, Hana? What are you fighting for? That's obvious. To overthrow the bourgeoisie scum because the proletariat will prevent... Imagine. Imagine if any time in a game like this we just had a moment that was just something so out there like that. It's obvious. I'm fighting for my liege and best friend, Lady Sakura. So I can infer the loyalty Lady Sakura deserves from the quality of your fighting. She must not deserve much if this is how you fight in her name. Excuse me? I'll pretend for the moment that you did not directly insult me, but I won't let you slight Lady Sakura's character. If you're bitter about my words, let's see you prove me wrong in our next battle. You better believe I will. Murgurgur. If only she said freaking the thing that Idea does. If only. Came out in like 90 or 91, you want to say, huh? No, the English localization came out at the same time as Final Fantasy IV, so it got cancelled on Final Fantasy IV, became the West Final Fantasy II. Weird. Silas and Hinoka. There you are, Silas. Just the man I was looking for. Nice to see you, Princess Hinoka. What can I do for you? I had some questions I thought you could help me with. It's about the finer points of Norian cavalry tactics. You've come to the right place then. What do you want to know? So, when your unit first sights an enemy... Imagine, it's like they achieve C support just there. Ah, that explains a lot. Did that satisfy your curiosity? Yeah, though I'm surprised by some of your kamikaze tactics answers. No, by some of your answers. In what way? Apart from a few minor details, it's not that different from how we do things here. A knight is a knight, a sword is a sword. There's only so much possible variance. Yeah, maybe so. Something about that where it's like there's only so much possible variance. I've seen some, you know, people talking about things like how different advertisers do things before, where they'll talk about how like so many advertisers from like so many completely different companies and groups around the world will have like a lot of the same tactics, and this isn't them copying one another, it's just them all having like countless generations of iteration and seeing what works, and them all going towards like the same kind of thing. It's kind of like how in evolution completely different species might evolve in the same way, for example, where it's like, you know, completely different things could, you know, work up to the same thing because that exact same thing might be, you know, the common thing that works, you know? Anyway, but yeah, it's weird because Final Fantasy V is getting too hard for Western audiences. We got a baby game called Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, and then what's Final Fantasy 3 is Final Fantasy I'm really never gonna understand what's going on with freaking Final Fantasy titles. Again, if we ever cover one, it'll be 7 or 10, and that's all I need to know. Maybe. You still have some doubt? No, not really. If you think of anything else useful, then you know where to find me. Understood. I'm happy to be of service. Well, that's all of one character support conversations done. We've got more to... No, not a support. That's gonna be annoying, having, like, the support exclamation point always there, then, for a good while and such. But yeah, let's see here. Felicia and Kaze. And with that, it appears we've got all the items on our list. Yeah. Did we forget to buy something? Huh? Oh no, I'm just surprised at how smoothly our shopping trip went. Isn't that a good thing? It means you did well, Felicia. No, I'm pretty sure it's just because you were here with me. And if you hadn't shown up when you did, I wouldn't even have had my shopping list. Yes, well, we all lose things now and then. In any event, don't feel like you owe me anything. I told you I would assist you. Which is why I've been checking in on you regularly to make sure everything is okay. You have? So, that explains how the oven turned off before it started a fire, and how the paint can got switched with the wood varnish, and how the clothes already seemed ironed when I took them down. Thank you, Kaze. I'm in your debt. Not at all. I'm helping you because I want to. Well, that and... Never mind. Huh? That and what? Nothing. A slip of the tongue. Forgive me. Hey, you're hiding something from me, aren't you? Of course not. I'm just happy to be of service. Is that not enough? You can't fool me. I have no idea what you're talking about. Good day. Okay, you can't just run away like that, Kaze. And then after the release of Final Fantasy 2 and 3, we got Final Fantasy 7. Every Western gamer who played Final Fantasy before 7 has been confused ever since. What a tale, huh? Hello, Tsubaki. Wait, you just froze all of a sudden. Did I do something? Oh, I'm sorry. What is it? The truth is, you're notorious for being a very clumsy person. I've even heard rumor that a whole castle once fell due to your blundering ways. I was worried that being near you might doom me to some awful fate. I felt a little bit scared. That's such an awful thing to say. How could you be so horrible? Well, Luigi. I'm sorry. Please, don't cry. Hey, what are you doing with those sheets? Why did you throw them at me? They're still soaking wet. Can't see where I'm going. Tsubaki, are you okay? Yeah, I just fell. I didn't want it to be true, but it seems like my fears were valid after all. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. Why would you throw the sheets at me anyway? You just finished washing them. I shouldn't have done that. Well, favorite part is that Dragon Quest has an almost identical history despite being Final Fantasy's rival for nearly 2 decades. Welp. Let's see here. Hello? Saizo, may I come in? Who is it? Oh, that Felicia woman. The Norian. Yes. I didn't see you at supper tonight, so I brought you a meal. You can take it back with you. What? Why? You have to eat it or you'll get sick. Then where will you be in battle? Why? Because I skip one meal? Not likely. I won't eat any food you prepare. What? That's a horrible thing to say. Many people have told me that you're a shockingly bad cook for a maid. I wouldn't feed what's on that tray to a dog. That's a horrible thing to say, even for you. Horrible. Not as horrible as the food you expect me to eat. What are you doing as a maid if you can't perform simple household tasks? I don't understand why Harmonia keeps you around. Well, Luigi! You're the worst person I've ever met in my life, you black-hearted demon! What's this sudden chill? I see now why they keep you in the army. You have an incredible power. Yes, it's finally starting to make sense. That's what convinced you? Welp. And finally one with Azama. Welp. I think in my spreadsheet these two are pairing off. Ah, there you are, Felicia. Hello, Azama. Is something the matter? I've heard that you're a servant here. Or should I say maid? That's what you call it here, right? It sure is. I've often heard that maids have to devote themselves to their masters completely. That meticulously performing one's duties is the most important aspect of life. Is that true? If so, being a maid must require a truly generous spirit. Something like that, but your description is a little bit extreme. Well, I never said that you were carrying out your duties successfully. Hey, that's not very nice. What are all these supports? Freaking bully Felicia? What I really wanted to know was how it feels to be so devoted to another person. It seems like a unique situation. You want to know how it feels? I'm just curious to know what it's like to live for someone else, to take care of their many unique needs. That's a difficult question. I just want to do the best job I can. I live to assist the people who mean the most to me. It's not terribly complicated. No, that's actually even more confusing. Maybe it's beyond my comprehension. Are you really so sad that you feel like you have to live for other people? No, that's not it at all. I think it's totally natural to live for those you care about. Perhaps your equivalent of natural is just different from mine? Well, if that's true, why don't you try working with me as a maid for a while? That might clear up your confusion. Are you serious? That sounds like such a pain in the neck. Maybe that could help you understand my perspective better. Perhaps you're right. I don't know if I can really devote myself to someone like you have, though. What do you think? It might be difficult for you, but it wouldn't hurt to try, right? Your reasoning does make a lot of sense. Honestly, the idea of being a maid makes me want to grind my teeth. I guess I could help you out for a bit, just until I get to the bottom of this. Great, I'll probably ask for your help soon. Welp. Let's see here. What is all this? It's out of Japan because of copyright reasons. Dragon Quest is known as Dragon Warrior until 2004. We got the first 4 games as Dragon Warrior 1, 2, 3, and 4. Didn't get a 5 or a 6. Then they released Dragon Warrior 7 and cue the confusion. And then Dragon Quest 8 came out under the Dragon Quest name, causing even more confusion. Well, that's certainly something, isn't it? Yeah, don't want the S support here. Alrighty. Oh, Setsuna. Say, are you coming home from a trip to the market? Yeah, how did you know? I just had a feeling. Did everything end up going okay? You got the proper portions for each of the ingredients, right? Of course, I got everything I needed. Lady Hinoka wrote out a detailed list. The store clerk was also kind enough to pick out each item for me. Phew, that's a relief. Well, I have to say that I'm almost proud of you, Setsuna. You managed to run an errand without anything terrible happening. Nicely done. Oh, thank you. I see that your ability to comprehend sarcasm hasn't improved. What are you getting up to tonight? Oh, well, I'm going to cook dinner. I'm so excited about it. Ah, I see. Wait, what? Who in their right mind would let you near an open flame, let alone a kitchen? We're all doomed. What do you mean? I love to cook. Think of all the havoc your cooking has caused in the past. Whoever picked you to make food must have some sort of crazy death wish. This is going to be a culinary catastrophe. Oh, you think so? I'm glad you're excited. Tatsuna, you really can be thick as a brick sometimes, you know that? Thank you for saying so. Never mind. I think I'll go and let Lady Hinoka know you made it back safely. What a pair, huh? My, oh my, you can tell if someone's a boomer or a zoomer based on whether they call it Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest. The more you know, huh? Well, we have a lot of supports here, apparently. Well, if I didn't know better, I think I was sleepy. Tsubaki, didn't you just say you were tired? Ah, Lady Sakura. Of course not. I said nothing of the sort. Oh, I must have misheard. I've never heard you complain before. Well, I've never felt fatigue before. I doubt I would recognize it. Tsubaki, when's the last time you got some sleep? Now that I think about it, you were in that epic battle yesterday. We barely scraped by, and then right after that, you attended the strategy meeting, didn't you? And I heard you're commanding the rear troops and organizing all the supplies. That is all true, but as you know, for me, it's a piece of cake. I'm not doubting your skills, but please, don't run yourself into the ground, okay? That would be impossible. I know how hard you work to make it look easy. You don't have to pretend with me. Shh, Lady Sakura, don't speak another word. But I just remembered some supplies I need to attend to. Excuse me. Tsubaki. Welp. There's your video game history lesson for the day. For more cool gaming facts, go to coolgamingfacts.com. I don't doubt it. Welp. Why the music gets so intense? What is this support going to be? Hello? Excuse me, is someone there? It's the hash-slinging slasher. What if I just gave him a really wacky voice? Like, what if I gave him a voice like my super butchered stereotypical Italian mob or something like that? Just like, there you are, princess. Now I've got you. Who are you? My name is Inigo Montoya. Silence, I'm going to kill you. It's a recolor of Robin. Oh no. Lady Azur, are you alright? I thought I heard shouting. Tsubaki, help. Gah, where do you come from? You weren't supposed to be here. Hey! Well, here I am. Now, what are you going to do? You'll never win against me. We'll see about that. I've crossed swords with better fighters than you, and I'm always victorious. If I were you, I'd run while you still can. The rest of our forces will arrive any moment. Mark my words, I'll be back. The princess better sleep with one eye open or else she'll be sleeping with the fishes. I'm making the pizza. Oh, well, that's that. Lady Azura, were you injured? No, I'm fine. I'm shocked that an enemy soldier could sneak so far into our camp. We must revisit our security procedures. I'll find the flaw and fix it, don't you worry. I'm sure they'd love to kidnap a Shiden royal, but I won't let it happen. Something tells me that's not it. What do you mean, milady? Never mind. Thanks for coming to my aid, Tsubaki. I appreciate it. Of course. I wonder what she meant by that. Well, bada bing, bada boom. Absolutely. Time to see these two. Good afternoon, Saizo. How are you this fine day? You don't need to put up those placating airs with me. Is that what I was doing? I thought I was simply extending a pleasant greeting. Yes, but I sometimes suspect that you do so to mask your true self. Where is this hostility coming from? I've always been a perfect gentleman to you. I acknowledge your strength, at least. You're among the strongest of the retainers to the Shiden royalty. You insult me with one breath and praise me in the next. This is a very strange conversation. I'm only being frank. Very well, I'll grant your strength as well. Your temper is an unfortunate flaw, but in terms of pure strength, you're near the top. Apart from yourself, you mean? No, I never said, but you were thinking it. Come now. Let's be reasonable. I know all about your facade. I don't know what you're thinking behind it. I don't think I'll really be satisfied until I test my strength against yours. What do you mean? Whatever for? I'm challenging you to a duel, under real combat conditions, naturally. You mean, with real weapons? Very well, I'll agree to those terms. I'll make you regret that. So you say, but I wonder if it isn't you who'll rue issuing the challenge. The results will speak for themselves. The duel will take place in a few days' time. Do we have an agreement? Agreed. Now I want to see how this freaking line plays out. red hair boys, get these guys on Shang's crew. I don't know what that's a reference to, I'm sorry to say. Tsubaki and Orochi.
Tsubaki, I've been looking everywhere for you. Sorry, Orochi. What can I do for you? It's what I can do for you, my happy-go-lucky friend. Though you won't be so happy, or so lucky, for much longer.
What? Have you seen my future?
Yes. Never have I seen a bleaker one. Soon you'll experience one unfortunate event after another. The odd thing is that these events will be minor, though many.
Minor misfortunes? Then I'll surely be able to weather them.
How wrong you are. There will be too many, too often. You'll get a splinter in your finger. A spider will drop on your head.
Food will splatter your white clothes. You'll chip your tooth on a peach pit.
Any one of these would be forgettable. One after another, madness.
And I agree, especially for someone with me. My perfection shattered.
Exactly, Tsubaki. But this is why I rushed to find you. I know the key to survival.
You just need to pay $20 for the first payment, but order now and we'll double it for absolutely free. You just need to call in the next 10 minutes.
You must stop being such a perfectionist. Accept life's little messes.
Certainly not. Why, I'll make sure none of these things happen.
Oh, how?
I'll stay on guard around the clock for these problems. I need only be extra vigilant. Easily done.
I'm sure if anyone could survive a maelstrom of minor mishaps, it's you. Good luck, Tsubaki.
Well, the joke is that Shanks from One Piece is the captain of a crew called the Red Hair Pirates. You would think by their name that they're a joke crew who gets bodied by everyone, but they're arguably the strongest crew in the series canon. Well, news to me.
Greetings, Lady Hinoka.
Tsubaki, how are you today?
I'm doing perfectly well, as always. I'm glad to hear it. It's been quite some time since last we spoke. We used to talk regularly back when I was in training as a Pegasus Knight.
Of course, I remember.
I suppose it would be more accurate to say that you are mostly teaching me.
Oh, I didn't teach you that much. I simply showed you the simplest way to bond with a Pegasus.
Back then, I had a well-hate of every aspect of Nor. I believe the Pegasi could feel that anger burning within me, but you showed me how to let go, to calm my burdened spirit.
Is that right? I feel like you may be giving me more credit than I deserve.
No, it's true. You told me that it wasn't about trying to control the Pegasus.
Control the Force.
It was about bonding with the creature. That totally altered my perspective. It also helped open my eyes to the intricate beauty of nature.
Also, I think these two are pairing off in this playthrough. I think.
The rustle of leaves and sounds of chirping birds makes me think of you, even still.
Is that right? God, it seems like so long ago now.
I recall those days fondly.
As do I, Lady Hinoka. Hello! I still don't know if I'm saying it correctly. G10 Krayak. I'm probably completely butchering everything, as I always figure I do. I apologize, but welcome to freaking Harmonia Read support conversations for 3,000 years, because my goodness, do we have a lot of support conversation to get through. My goodness. Oh, great. Why'd it have to be you they assigned to this job? What is this freaking group tasks in Fire Emblem Three Houses?
I don't understand.
You were selected to help train the new recruits, right? I understand why I was chosen, but I have no idea why they would pick you.
Why was I chosen?
Yes, that's what I'm asking you.
Oh, I have no idea. It's an important job, though. We should be sure to do it right.
I never thought I'd hear you say something like that. Anyway, we should figure out how best to divide the work between us. I think I'll handle figuring it out, though. You might get distracted.
Thank you, Tsubaki.
How about you handle the archery training? You're exceptional with a bow and arrow, after all.
I can do that.
And no, that's it. I'll take care of all the rest. It's probably better that way.
Okay, do your best, Tsubaki.
You two said so. Wow. See the name before, but it's usually part of... Wait, part's supposed to be a reference to Final Fantasy 9. Didn't notice until now because in some translations the hero is named Jitan or Gitan. I know nothing about Final Fantasy myself, so I personally wouldn't know. But yeah, don't need to do those. Yeah, let's see these supports and such.
Hello, Kaze. Lady, are you talking to me? To what do I owe this honor? Goodness, you make it sound like I've never spoken to you before. Well, every time we've talked, I've been the one who initiated the conversation. Is that so? Yes, in fact, all our conversations have been limited to me delivering messages. But I never took it personally. I know you prefer to avoid people if you can help it. You know how to put it quite plainly, don't you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so blunt, my lady. How rude of me. That's all right, you spoke the truth. I need to ask you a favor. Consider it done. I will grant anything my lady requests. But I haven't even told you what it is. It is my duty to obey without hesitation. Please, tell me, how may I be of service? Why don't you follow me? I'll explain on the way. I phrased that completely wrong. My goodness. Oh, that's the support that, well, okay, well, let's see. Saizo, is there a reason you keep staring at me like that?
For once, she and I are alone. If I'm ever going to tell her, now is the time. It's free real estate. Milady, since you insist, I shall tell you something I should have told you sooner. We've been trying to contact you about the extended warranty on your car insurance. To be blunt, I don't trust you.
Oh, I see.
You've always been beloved by the royal family, particularly Queen Mikoto. Not King Mikoto, forget that. Yet even so, I can't trust someone from the Kingdom of Nor.
I've always suspected as much. Your distrust is practically written all over your face.
Is that so? I had no idea. If you knew, then why haven't you told anyone? If Ryoma found out, he would not hesitate to banish me from the kingdom.
I don't wish to cause you any harm. I understand why you feel that way. I'm also well aware of my situation, and of the hatred I must inspire in some people.
Very well. I suppose there was no reason to stay silent about it for so long. Be warned that I am watching you. If you ever step out of line, I will stop you.
Fair enough. I shall keep that in mind.
Private joke with another streamer. I once created a freaking alternate Steam name. I have a Twitch account somewhere that was just a freaking inside joke with another streamer. There was some streamer who played Dead by Daylight. I used to be around his stream all the time. I think he's one of the biggest Dead by Daylight streamers nowadays, Otofu, but back when he used to be a much smaller streamer. There was a Halloween event in Dead by Daylight where some of the flashlights would have a weird ghosty kind of effect. They were called spooky flashlights. And I forget what milestone it was, but I remember there was some point when, so many years ago, when he had said, where I got him to say, if he hits some milestone, he should make a real spooky flashlight. And he was like, okay, if I ever hit that milestone, I'll make a real spooky flashlight in real life. And he eventually hit that milestone, and then I bugged him about it for the next year, and it was an inside joke there. And I have that was back in 2019. I remember because the alternate Twitch account that I have is Spooky Flashlight 2019. Trying to get him to freaking do that by year's end. Heck, this freaking drawing on the wall right here, you can't even see it. But this was freaking my drawing of a spooky flashlight from Dead by Daylight, of the icon for it, at least. Not the actual thing itself, but just the icon for it looks like that. There's a freaking spooky flashlight from Dead by Daylight, is what that is. All because of that stupid inside joke. He never did make a freaking spooky flashlight. I haven't been by his stream in over a year and a half now, I think. Something like that. I don't know. What? Let's see here. I'm alone with her. Now is the time. My real name is Smitty Weberman Jaggerman Jensen. Don't tell anyone. My, oh my. Well, let's see here.
Azura, good. I found you. Are you alright? You seem a little out of breath. Yeah, well, I ran the whole way here, even though I have a Pegasus. I needed to apologize to you right away. Whatever for? Today, I realized I've been so focused on this war and getting Harmonia back. I've been ignoring you. I feel terrible. And you ran the whole way here to tell me that. Did you apologize to the others? What? You mean Ryoma, Takumi, and Sakura? There was no need. Half of them are still missing at this point in the freaking plot. Ryoma's pretty fixated on the war too, and Takumi, well, he's oblivious. Also, they're missing at this point in the plot, but whatever. Sakura's so delicate. I check in on her every day. But you're strong. I thought I'd be fine. Of course I am. You know how I love my alone time. Ah, that's right. I guess I forgot. Thanks, Azura. I feel a lot better now. Since you're here, there's something I've been meaning to give you. Years ago, I found this little Pegasus statue for your birthday. But you were so serious about your training, I thought you'd find it silly. I never gave it to you, but perhaps you'd like it now. Wow, I love it. Thank you, Azura. You're welcome. I'm so pleased you like it. I think I might be getting these two to A, or at least Azura to A+. Hinoka. Type color Gitano in YTB is what that's meant to be a reference to? Surprised you didn't point out your previous message was a SpongeBob reference. It's made Weberman Jaggerman Jesse. He was number, just because I had to reread it a couple times to see exactly what it was saying. I know Carvia freaking knows how to spell the whole thing, and I know that it's not quite like that. It's Smitty Weberman Jaggerman Jensen. Mr. Krabs, you can't take his hat. He was number one. You know? Azura, do you have a minute? there's something I've been meaning to ask you. Certainly. What is it, Hayato? Traveling with all of you has made me realize just how big this world is. Didn't we just get him last chapter, I think? Before now, I never even left my village. There's so much to see. That's true. I heard that you've lived all over the world. You must have the most amazing stories. So tell me, have you met anyone famous? What's the coolest thing you've ever seen? I don't want to disappoint you, but I'm afraid I don't have much to tell. No way. I don't believe that for a minute. I've seen incredible stuff just this morning. Surely you have something awesome to share. Everyone's experiences are different. If you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way. Azura seems to be hiding something. I wonder why.
Well, so we have Smitty, Weberman, Jaggerman, Jensen, and Kyle, the greatest ninja brothers in all of fiction. Is that what's going on now? My, oh my. Welp. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get this support here. Sakura, are you ready to start our conversation practice?
Yes.
Then, let's begin. Sakura, how old were you when you knew you wanted to be a healer?
I don't know.
Did you do any special training or studying to become a healer?
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Sakura, try to calm yourself. Just calmly answer my questions, okay?
I'm sorry, Harmonia, I just get so nervous all the time.
No need to apologize. Besides, I think I figured out what the problem is. Now, as for my next question, why did you kill them? You let other people intimidate you. Do you have any idea how that started?
I don't know.
I see.
I'm sorry. Thanks for trying to help me anyway.
Oh, sweet Sakura. One of these days I'll get you to stop apologizing. Well, and we'll get this one with Hinoka. Yeah, well, Luigi. What if I just gave Hinoka a Waluigi voice for the rest of this? Is that you over there, Wario? I give Sakura a Wario voice. Imagine. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your training. I don't know. No, it's fine. What's the matter? I was just admiring your fighting style, Hinoka. You always look so cool. Is that it? If something's bothering you, you can tell me. I'm your big sis. I guess not all sisters are alike. Huh? Well, this brave, incredible warrior, and I'm not. We're nothing alike. That's not true. There are some things we have in common, like our distrust for the Mario brothers. Oh, every morning we wake up with the same bedhead. We both like to run barefoot on the grass. What else? Oh, I don't mean like that. I mean, personally. You're brave and I'm not. You have plenty of strengths. I wish I was more like you. Then you could be proud of me. I didn't mean to blurt all that out. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted. She left. Now what do I do? I'm sorry. I don't even know. So Sakura, how do you feel about necromancy since you're a healer and all? Okay, some meme that I saw once, I think I shared it in the Discord, where it was like, the meme was like some knight was going to go like fight some army to avenge his brother's death. And it was like the elf is like, you have my bow, and the dwarf is like, and my axe, and the necromancer is like, and your brother. I don't remember where I saw it from, but now what should I do with these veggies? Boil them? Or I could pickle them. It's just thinking about all I could do is making me tingly inside. Hi, Mozu. You seem to be in high spirits. Goodness, that's a tall stack of boxes. Are all those filled with produce?
Sure are.
You seem to have your hands full. Can I help you with those?
Sure, just be careful. I don't want any of these precious babies getting bruised.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, lift. I can lift things for physical labor work. I can't really push them because of my freaking weird thing about my left wrist with putting things back. You're gonna do that if you ever play Necromancer Wizard in D&D. Be like, and you have your brother that you're trying to avenge. It wasn't even like a comic or anything. It was just like one of those like short little posts that somebody made in text that was just like stupidly funny to me. Too heavy. Oh, my back. I've had back issues from like lifting things before and issues with my hips. I've gone to physiotherapy for that, though that was mostly for my wrist. Oh, thinking about other things, I just lifted up my wrist and saw how bright. Everything about me looks freaking bright because I mentioned it before. I can't adjust the brightness of this light because it's freaking busted and weird. And Elgato support finally got back to me. I was like, yeah, your warranty is still valid. Just send your light back to us and we'll like replace it. So, I might have to stream for a while without that light. I mean, the light isn't even very good right now because it's way too bright. But like, What am I gonna do when I don't have a freaking light? Like, what does it look like with the light off right now? I don't know. What? I feel like both these options that we have right now are like okay, but not particularly great because this is too bright and having it off is too dim. So like, it's gonna be like a band-aid. I'm just gonna have to like freaking send it in and freaking get it over with and freaking get one that actually connects to the Wi-Fi network here. I mean, it could be an internet issue. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll contact our internet provider first because I've had a bunch of streaming issues here and there. Maybe. I don't know. My freaking super tech savvy cousin is coming over tomorrow. I'll ask him to have a look at it first.
Yipes, just set it down careful and I'll take care of it. Whew, you had me going there. You're weaker than you look, Lord Harmonia.
I'm a stick! Behold my stick ways!
I don't think it's that I'm weak so much as that you're shockingly strong. Just what are you implying? Sorry, I meant it as a compliment. No offense intended. Where did you get all these vegetables anyway? From the bourgeoisie from the village I visited a little while back. I helped some of the grannies on the farm there and made a few new friends. That's always nice. I work the fields every day back home, so I'm used to putting in some elbow grease.
Ozu, is something wrong?
Nah, it's nothing. Do you miss your old life? Of course not. The very idea. I'm grateful for all you did for me, Lord Harmonia. And you know I'm no weakling, so don't worry about me, okay?
Point well taken.
Anyway, what should we make with all these veggies? Maybe we should go around and ask people what kinds of things they'd want.
See you, Lord Harmonia.
Ozu, I don't think there's anything that can stop me from worrying about you.
But yeah, I'll alternately, as a GM, find the player whose backstory is that they're trying to avenge a dead family member, and at some point in the adventure, bring a necromancer NPC who uses said dead family member as a shield. Freaking cruel.
Now what am I going to do?
Ozu, is something bothering you?
Oh, Hayato, I didn't see you there. What's on your mind? You don't have to hold back. Feel free to tell me anything. You know that I have helped a handful of people with my charms, right? Perhaps I can give you some advice. Is that right? Would you mind talking for a minute or two? You see, I have a problem. I get a little nervous when we march out to fight.
That seems perfectly normal. Having butterflies in your tummy before a battle isn't all that rare.
I feel like I'm worthless in a fight. It's hard not to be scared in the face of violence. If my emotions get the best of me, I can't do any good on the battlefield.
I understand.
Have you ever felt like that before, Hayato?
I've never had a problem with nerves. I always steel myself before a big fight, so I can't relate personally.
That's really something. I wish I could be as courageous as you are. Maybe I could help you overcome your fear with one of my charms. Is that possible? I would really appreciate it if you did.
It's no problem. Wait right here. I'll go and grab my supplies.
Okay, thanks, Hayato.
My brain typed the wrong word there. It was supposed to be minion, not shield, but shield works too. One of these days, I want to gather some freaking... One of these days, I want to have a freaking Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing with, like, a bunch of close friendos or something like that. Just over, like, Discord or something. And maybe in, like, I don't know, tabletop sim or something like that. Like, I feel like my favorite... I haven't seen a lot of Dungeons and Dragons stuff, like, before, really, at all. Just, like, a couple things here and there. But let me tell you, freaking from... a long time ago, 5 or 6 years ago, something. It might have been from 2013, actually. It might have been 8 years ago, maybe, if I'm recalling. I remember the Yogscast's freaking thing on Dungeons and Dragons. Their first and second one. I think they had a third one later. I think I checked it out. It was pretty good as well. But, like, their first two especially that were from, like, 2013 and 2014, I believe, was freaking hilarious and incredible. Like... I think that's the most I've ever been exposed to, like, D&D kind of stuff, and that stuff was really funny. I miss the freaking old days of, like, Yogscast stuff. I know that they're, like, still around nowadays, but, like, they're very, very different, and it doesn't, you know, feel as connected anymore, and that everyone's kind of, like, doing their own thing, and, you know, it's one of those multi-channel networks that basically has, like, it used to be, like, a close-knit set of creators that you'd see constantly collaborating with one another, and nowadays apparently they have like 50 something creators under their belt, and everyone seems largely to be doing like their own thing a lot of the time. I don't know, but the freaking classic days of freaking Yogscast, there was one time that they did a big Dungeons and Dragons thing, and it was freaking hilarious, and it makes me look at that and be like, I want to do that with some of my friends, you know, because it was great. So maybe one day, maybe one day we do something like that in Discord and Tabletop Sim. I don't know. Also, this game was clearly intended to just have a few support conversations available after like a battle, like here and there, but you know, after all the battles I did off camera without doing any support conversations, it was clearly never meant to be like this. My goodness. Have a moment, Orochi. I live to serve, Lord Harmonia. I was wondering if you could tell me a little more about my mother, Lady Makoto, a remarkable woman. I'd be delighted to share my memories of her. I barely had a chance to get to know my mother. So little time because of what Anyway, could you share some stories about her? Trust me when I say she wouldn't have blamed you for what happened. And she'd be saddened if you blamed yourself, Lord Harmonia. But yes, a story. A funny one. That's what we need. She seems so graceful. You know funny stories about her? Oh, she was endlessly hilarious. One time, I recall catching her swimming with her slippers on. She forgot she had 2 chopsticks in hand and eat with 4. Some might say she was absent-minded. Not I. She was a dreamer of dreams. So what if Lady Makoto had her silly mishaps? We loved her for it. Please, go on. Once she sat cross-legged for so long her legs went to sleep. Happens to me every time I try to meditate. And I'm talking a deep sleep. She stood up right before the court and careened right into a fountain. I wish I could have been there, or at least to help her out of the water. Her mother was truly unique, like a wise sage and an accidental jester. She had the sweetest voice, but the things she would say, the racial slurs she would drop. Imagine if that was the next line here. Just something horrendously awful like that. You know, honestly, that dear woman, she really was a hoot. Thanks, Orochi. That's exactly what I needed to hear right now. Well, we've had a few D&D stories you've told around several Twitch communities. Have you ever told any of them here, like the time your party's a ranger burnt down the entire countryside? I don't think I've heard that, but I think that you have mentioned things with D&D here before, at least. Looks like you're girded for battle, Orochi. Who's your quarry? You. Oh, what grave offense have I committed now? Just being yourself. So I've offended you all my life? Pretty much. You've always had a bad attitude. Me? Looked in the mirror lately? You see, that's just what I mean. You're prickly, stuffy, arrogant. Please continue. I don't have better things to do. How can you not care what people are saying about you? Women in particular. Oh, now you've got my ear. We're all on the same side, Saizo, yet you seem to despise nearly everyone. I've heard the women of our group say how you and Kaze are like night and day. This is getting better by the second. Do women do nothing but gossip? Maybe I am like night, or a dark cloud. Perhaps a bad dream, I don't care. Oh, callous. Last chance, Saizo. Mend your ways, or I'll have to take matters into my own hands. Do what you will. Saizo, I'm not kidding. I've known you for forever, blah, 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 and I know things. Welp. The strap in this story's a doozy. Welp. Why, here you are, Hayato. I believe these two are pairing off. Have you been looking for me? What can I do for you, Orochi? You and I share an interest, magic. I'd like to share herbs. Oh, is that all? What could be more important? Let's pool our resources. Imagine the potions we could make. It boggles the mind. Sure, I'm open to the idea. I think you're getting the better end of the deal, though. I've got quite a large collection of herbs. You'll be impressed. The size of mine isn't that large, but I bet I have rare herbs. Why must people always try to one-up each other? Sorry, I didn't mean to. No, wait, I've got to be honest. You were boasting. About the size of my collection. I was merely being factual. Well, we see which of us is carrying the rarest herb. I'll win this battle. Behold, weed, leaves of an herb that flowers only in meadows. At midnight. And now only meadows at the. Why is my arm so itchy? And now only meadows on the north border, nowhere else. Oh, yeesh, you're right. That's hard to get, being on the border. But I have something rare. See? An herb that grows on cliffs in Wind Tribe territory. Few dare gather this herb. Few survive the climb. Oh no. Oh yes. That reminds me of that scene from the SpongeBob movie. I'm not gonna freaking say it out, but Oh yes, besides, your herb is only used in a... I will say it out. It reminds me of that scene from the first SpongeBob movie where Mindy's like, Daddy, no, and Plankton's like, Daddy, yes. Oh yes. Besides, your herb is only used in a basic healing powder. Now you can see why I didn't want to say it initially. Mine heals and soothes some of the most ornery fevers. Then I suppose you win this battle, Hayato. Ha! Victory Royale! #1 no. But are you the better herbalist? Care for another battle? Yes, and I'll win the next time too. It's been fun, Orochi. See which of us can get high last. So our party, which consisted of a dragoon, this had a little bit of homebrew, which was your character, a barbarian and a ranger. Your job was to investigate a blight destroying the forest, but we found nothing and decided to return to the village and find more assistance from a ranger who was quite frankly not an idiot. Okay, so this is gonna go on and on in some ways. Okay, so we can support Felicia, which if I was considering pairing off with like first generation units, honestly, I would definitely very much consider Felicia. Very much so. I would say Rinka! Yeah, Lord Harmonia, you really don't know how to take a hint, do you? I'm starting to lose count of all the times I've told you to stay away. Sorry. Well, what is it this time? Is there no way I can convince you to be a little more friendly with others? Why? When we spoke of your capture at Nora's hands, you seemed angry. Do you hate having been caught so much? Of course I do. Being captured is far more shameful a fate than death to a warrior. I wish I'd perished that day. I would have retained my dignity at least. But if you died, we'd never have met and worked together. What? We're at war. Nothing is certain. One day we celebrate, the next we may be mourning. But I have to believe there's some kind of order to things. And so I think we are fated to meet as we did, and that we should be grateful for it. I see. I am grateful we met, but I still feel regret and anger at my capture. It is not difficult to be grateful for a misfortune, is it not? But in the end it wasn't a misfortune, right? It all worked out. We should thank fate for that, for all the ways it sees fit to connect us, all of us. And I think fate has given you a unique and incredible opportunity. How so? It's rare the Flame Tribe interacts with outsiders, right? Then perhaps you should take advantage of this to learn about the world, about other people, other cultures, lands, arts, history, technologies. Your people may not have an opportunity like this again for a long, long time. And I think it would be a terrible shame were you to let it slip past you. But I admit, I may feel this way because I spent my entire life trapped in isolation. So the choice is yours. I won't press you further. I see. Very well, I'll have to think on it, but your argument has a certain weight. I'll do my best to warm up to the others, alright? Thank you, Rinka. No, thank you. But yeah, after we got to the town, we rest at an inn. The ranger gets attacked and kills the attacker and proceeds to frame you for murder. But because the attacker was a criminal, you luckily got away from it. Head back to the blight and stump monsters show up there. Go find food at a random shop and burn the entire city because why not? Is that the prediction of how the story would go there maybe? Okay, and we can get Kazete support. Lord Harmonia, I wish to apologize for hurting your feelings the other day. Oh, you mean when you got mad about me following you around? Don't worry about it. It was my fault anyway. I'm sorry for bothering you, Kaze. You have a kind heart, Lord Harmonia. You think so? Kaze? Lord Harmonia, there's something I haven't told you about myself. Something for which I cannot be forgiven, no matter how much I wish to repent. I was one of the lead developers on Roller Coaster Tycoon World. Huh? I'm a worthless servant. It is my fault that you were kidnapped and taken to Nora. Your fault? What did you do? We had all traveled to Cheve that day, and I noticed Norian forces in the city. The same forces that would later kill Sumeragi and take you away. But I was young. I didn't know what their presence meant, so I said nothing. It's not your fault, Kaze. You were a child. How could you have known what would happen? I come from a long line of ninja that have always served the Hashidan royalty. I was trained from an early age. If anyone should have understood, it was me. For such incompetence, I should have paid with my life. There's no way I can ever heal the suffering I've caused you and your birth family. I should not even be allowed to speak with you. I'm so sorry, Lord Harmonia. Stop! You did nothing wrong. If anything, I should be apologizing to you. Lord. I'm so sorry, Kaze. You must have been tortured by this for years. I never knew, and I've acted so inconsiderately toward you. But I think now is the time to forgive and move on. We can't allow the rest of our lives to be defined by past mistakes. Besides, you were the one who returned me, were you not? Returned you? Yes, it was you who traveled to the Flame Tribe in order to bring me back. And you were the one by my side when I returned to Hashido.
It was you, Kaze. You gave me a chance to be with my birth family again. But, Kaze, you're not at fault. And even if you were, you've repaid your debt to me. So please, let us never speak of this again. Will you promise me that? Well? Yes, I promise. Good. Are you laughing at me? It's just... You remind me so much of Lady Makoto. It warms my heart. I remind you of my mother. How so? When Lady Makoto became queen, she forgave me and allowed me to serve her. I wonder if she somehow foresaw that her child would do the same one day. Perhaps you are the one I was always meant to serve. What do you mean? As you must have noticed, all members of Ashido's royal family have 2 retainers. These retainers are chosen from the best of the castle soldiery. When the time is right, they pledge their allegiance to a single lord. For example, Orochi and Raina both served the late Queen Makoto. Tsubaki and Hana served Lady Sakura. Hinata and Oboro served Lord Takumi. Azama and Setsuna served Lady Hinoka. And Kagero and his twin brother, Saizo, served... And my twin brother, Kagero and his... I'm sorry. Twin brother, Saizo, served Lord Ryoma. Wait, so that means... Yes, though I have served the royal family for some time, I serve no single master. I've been troubled by this fact, but perhaps Lady Makoto arranged it, so that someday, when the time was right, I could serve you, Lord Harmonia. If you will have me, then I will pledge myself to you. Do you accept? Kaze, I do. I accept. Now, as your retainer, I hereby vow to protect you with my life. Thank you. I pray it never comes to that, my friend. So yeah, definitely a close-knit Ace support there, closer than a lot of the ones get there. The story goes on. The NPC we brought along with us dies, and our ranger uses his racial ability to teleport in flames. Was that a typo? Because of the blight, the fire spreads extremely fast, faster than we can handle. We run away, carrying a skull and a rock that says eggs on it that we found next to a monolith that we figured out was causing the blight. After trying and failing to destroy the skull and failing to get the eggs rock to do anything, Olo got knocked out. The barbarian got first, took the skull and ran off. Ranger goes off in a random direction looking for him, and your character just flees the scene, and the fire spreads faster and faster, eventually engulfing the entire countryside. That was not a typo. In D&D, certain races have special abilities. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, let's see our other support conversations here. I can feel eyes on me again. Saizo, are you always this vigilant when it comes to me? Don't you get tired? I know I get exhausted being under constant watch. No response? Nothing? But enough belly aching. I need to get these things inside. I just wish they weren't so heavy. 1, 2... Yuck! Alright. Warn me next time, Saizo. I don't make a habit of advertising my presence. You should learn to sense it. Something seems wrong, though. You've been looking pale and fatigued lately. Not that we really need you, but I worry that you'll drag the others down if you try to fight in that condition. Oh, sorry. I'm just tired out from looking over my shoulder all the time. What? You still don't trust me, do you? You've given me no reason to. I'm sure you'd love for me to stop watching you, but I know better. I have one eye, and it's staying fixed directly on you. You know, speaking about things with that, when I was working at Weiss Johnson a couple of years ago doing duct cleaning, one of the people that we worked with there, who was in like one of the kind of management positions, he was somebody who only had one eye. Like, he had an eye patch over the other eye. So every Halloween he would dress up as a pirate because he already had the eye patch, and so there was that. So that was interesting. I'm forced to admit this is a problem I can't overlook. What problem? What are you talking about? Whoa. Quiet. Where do you need these? Those are my things. I can carry them perfectly well myself. That's not what I saw. You are, however tenuously, an ally. I'm not so cruel as that you lug these around by yourself. It is dishonorable to turn a blind eye to one in need of help. Are you impugning my honor? Not at all. Thank you, Saizo. Don't think this means you're off the hook. More importantly, hurry and tell me where this trunk goes. France. Or that shed over there. Understood. This will only take a moment. Was he in such a hurry to leave because he was embarrassed? Saizo embarrassed. There's a mental picture for you. Well, we have a lot of support conversations to get through here, my goodness. There's some stuff out
Like your Dragoon Elbow dropping a stump. Left out some stuff like your Dragoon Elbow dropping a stump monster, but that's basically it. Again, I don't really know that much about D&D myself, but...
Sakura, Lady Sakura. Hana, are you looking for Sakura?
Eek!
Oh, it's you. Do you need me for something? Wait, did you say eek when you saw me? That's not a reaction I get very often. Never mind, Sakura isn't over here. Oh well, thanks for letting me know. Goodbye then. Hang on, just like that? Wait a minute, Hana. What is it? I really need to find Lady Sakura. I feel like there's some pretty intense animosity coming from you. Did I do something to slight you in some way? Yes, you did. Can't think of what it could be, but I apologize for it just the same. Lady Sakura spent years being sad over your kidnapping. I've watched her try and hide the tears countless times, and I don't like someone who makes my best friend cry. What? Sakura cried because of me? She's never said anything to me. It's pointless to ask her. I doubt she'd talk to you about it anyway. Really, I feel like I'm wasting my time even explaining this to you. Sheesh. However, as you are commander of this army, I will still obey your orders, no matter what my personal feelings toward you are. Goodbye. That was unexpected.
But yeah, if you remember the name Ifendor Gorgloom, that ranger was the same player, so honestly, pure chaos should have been expected by a Mai. We're still reading supports? Yup, to the point that maybe this should split into another part. Like, right here. And when I'm going through the VOD later to see, like, when the thing should split into another part, I should take my running around like this as an indication that this is where it splits into the next episode. Because, my goodness, I freaking was not expecting it to take this. Because, again, you get, like, maybe 2 or 3 more supports after each battle, yada yada, and you can see a few of those. But I just kept on doing more and more battles without seeing the supports, even though I was gaining, like, 2 or 3 per battle. And with all the freaking off-camera shenanigans that happened, that's just what wound up happening. So I guess we get one more freaking episode of support reading. My goodness. As you know, more supports. Actually, hold on. So we'll get through some more supports. I know that we've done 2 of the grinding maps so far, of Ghostly Gold and Boot Camp. This one is for weapons and such. We could try Museum Melee after these support conversations that we have, since we still have a bunch here. Yeah, let's see our other supports, huh? Looks like it's about time to go check those boar traps we put out. I wonder if we caught anything. What in the world? Setsuna, what are you doing in the boar trap? Hello, Lord Harmonia. Is that what this trap was for? Yes, how did you even... never mind, I'll get you out. There, the cage door has been unlocked. You don't seem to be hurt, at least. Thank you for letting me out. Why weren't you calling for help? The camp isn't all that far away from here. Next time this happens, just yell really loud and I'm sure someone will come running. Though, I guess that advice is moot. This sort of thing doesn't happen often. This happens to me daily, my lord. Excuse me? Traps and I are destined for each other. If I go hiking in the mountains, I fall into traps left for wildlife. I always get hung up in fishing nets when I'm crossing rivers. I even fall into the small holes that children dig for fun in towns. I don't even know what to say to this. I suppose it's at least a reliable talent. Thank you very much. That wasn't really a compliment. Considering this happens so often, why didn't you call for help? Oh, Lady Hinoka always eventually finds me, so... My sister tracks you down each time you get caught in a trap? Yes, Lady Hinoka is very good about looking out for her retainers. The way you said that, I can't help but picture a pet rather than another person. You think so? Anyway, that's why I don't get too worried whenever I'm caught in a trap. I suppose that's one way for you two to bond. Well, and we have a final one with Hayato, and continuing the freaking D&D talk here. If you don't remember Evander Gorgloom, he is the warlock who, amongst other things, jumped through a window yelling, "Here a moment," seduced the demon lord, and disguised himself as a crate when he got caught, and burned the guards. Your old D&D table was a kingdom of madness. I tell you what, it sounds like a freaking wacky time. You know, if we ever do a freaking community D&D thing on, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. I just wanted to adjust your camera. I'm sorry I scared you. Were you sleeping? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Jesse. Go back to sleep. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for startling you. If we ever do like a community D&D thing, on this channel on some weekend one day. I can keep you in mind. Let's see here. Mumble.
Oh, hey there, Hayato. Are you writing something? Your brow is all furrowed. Why do you look so intense? Ah, Harmonia, don't sneak up on me like that. I almost messed up, and then I would have had to rewrite this entire charm all over again. Oh, sorry about that. Say, what exactly is that thing you're working on anyway? Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to tell you. This paper contains a very special charm. You see, the correct terminology for it is a cease and desist order. I make them for people in the village. They can be used for all kinds of purposes, typically keeping people away from one another, to provide protection, aid a harvest, whatever you need, really. Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of something like that. Well, these are my own creations. I write a unique spell on each one. They are extremely effective. So what is this one for exactly? This is for the Wind Tribe's upcoming festival. They really want it to be a success. I couldn't possibly turn them down. So you're sending this one back to them. I have an idea. You're already giving them this charm. Why not include a letter too? A letter? What do you mean? There are probably people in the village who are concerned about you, right? I'm an adept diviner. There's no reason for me to report to the village. And besides, I still have work to do. Please, leave me alone. No, you just dropped something, Hayato. Is that an unfinished note? No, of course not. Don't even think about trying to read it. So you were already working on a letter. Why are you acting so odd? I don't understand what the big deal is. The truth is, I can't write one. Huh? What do you mean? Hi, my name's Jason. I'm 17 years old. I never learned how to read. Whatever that meme. I don't even know. I don't know that freaking one because I don't know that one meme because I didn't think it was that funny. I've never written a letter before, okay? I just don't know what I'm supposed to say. Are you happy now? Calm down. Now I understand why your letter was only half written. Will you show me how to finish it, Harmonia? Huh? How can I help? You're the one who's been encouraging me to write, so come on, help me. I'm basically your responsibility now, and it has to be a great one. That's a strange way to ask for a favor, Hayato, but I suppose helping you out is probably the right thing to do. Of course it is. Let's get to work. Okay. You had several D&D concept characters made in your spare time, so you haven't played D&D in a long time, so if there's ever a community D&D, you'd be ready for it. What's up, I'm Jared, 19, and you never learned. Okay, so that's what it is. Gotcha. Now I know. Well, we still have more supports. Morning, Saizo. Morning, when the sun is dawning in the east. Morning. Gosh darn it. Morning is when the sun is... Gosh. Damn. Morning. Morning is when the sun is dawning in the east, or shortly after. Now I'm finally getting my words right. Where's the sun right now, Setsuna? It's right over our heads. This is called afternoon. Oh man, I greeted you wrong, huh? Don't tell me you were sleeping this late. Okay, I won't tell you that. It was a good excuse, though. I was caught in a trap until just now. That's your idea of a good excuse? I wish you'd lied and said you overslept. Really? I'm not sure what to do with you, Setsuna. You don't seem quite suited to be a retainer. It's your attitude, I think. No way. I'm the most motivated gal around the castle. That is a bare-faced lie. I pity Lady Hinoka for having you as a retainer. I will take it upon myself to train you in the proper behavior for our loyal retainer. Sounds okay. Let's start tomorrow. Yes, bright and early. Be prepared. I want to see how that one plays out. What is that strange sound? I can't tell where it's coming from. Hayato, watching you twist and turn is making me really dizzy. Hello, Setsuna. Did you hear that strange sound just now? Oh yeah, that was probably my humming. Your humming? There's no way that was a sound you were making. It sounded absolutely nothing like humming. Yes, it was definitely me then. People often have that reaction to how I hum. I see. I've never heard such an unusual kind of hum before. It was as though the waves of sound themselves were being warped. Are you asking me to keep humming or to stop? I can't really tell. Oh, sorry. I'm not demanding you stop. It's just so unusual. Look, I've even got goosebumps. Oh, cool. Those are amazing. Most people wouldn't call goosebumps all that amazing. I think it's more amazing that you can give me goosebumps just by humming. My humming does come in handy, though. You might not believe me, but I can prove it. Not today, though. I really can't imagine how humming could come in handy. Let me know when you're ready to prove it. Okay. What are some of these supports, huh?
What else do we have left here? Okay, we have Rinka with the freaking Saizo bros. The Mario bros, essentially. I'm just now realizing they're twin brothers. One has red hair, one has green hair. Is this a freaking Mario and Luigi reference? Maybe. Slightly. I don't know.
Rinka, I have more sweets today. Would you like some? Kaze, I thought I made it clear last time that I didn't want any more sweets. Ah, I believe you are confused. It was the mouse with the grumbly stomach that didn't want any more sweets. You little... Rinka, I know you love sweets, and I imagine you avoid them because you think it will make you look soft. But trust me, no one will think less of you if you indulge yourself now and then. Will you be quiet? My diet is none of your business. You are absolutely correct. However, I would be a bad friend indeed were I not concerned with your happiness. I don't think it's good to deprive yourself like this just to hide your sweet tooth. I'm not hiding it. It's just not something everyone needs to know about. So then you won't mind if I share it with the others. Don't you dare. Why do you even care so much about what I eat anyway? I don't. I care that you seem so concerned with keeping up false appearances. Now, will you please accept this candy? It's your favorite. Haven't I made myself clear? I don't want any more sweets. Oh, yes. But I already know about your sugary little secret, right? So it's okay. You can eat these without worrying about it. I'm not a damn child. You don't have to feed me. If I want sweets, I'll get some myself. You misunderstand. There are too many for me to eat. I'm asking for your help. Fine. And I guess, well, thanks for your concern. Think nothing of it.
Well, the true Mario Brothers, Smitty, Weberman, Jaggerman, Jensen, and Kyle. Yep, absolutely. Hawks are going to sleep. Have a great stream, Harmonia. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out, Hawks. This has been nearly 2 hours of support reading so far. My goodness, I'm gonna need to drink a lot of water after this stream is over. Let me tell you right now, but have a good night. Let's see what she says with Saizo. Rinka.
Huh? Oh, Saizo, what's up?
Have you forgotten already about that last encounter? Why did you give the sign to retreat?
We just beaten off 2 waves. The whole company was worn out. It just made sense to get out while the getting was good.
We could have fought longer. If we kept at it, our foes might not have escaped.
You're letting your temper run you. Even if you're right, can you be sure we wouldn't have lost anyone?
A few casualties would have been worth the blow struck to the enemy. That encounter will have consequences for the rest of the war.
In the Flame Tribe, our war parties were so small that losing anyone was unthinkable.
And
our elders taught us the importance of reading the situation. There's virtue in retreat, if it means a single life can be saved.
Ridiculous. Cowardice is no virtue. The Flame Tribe. It sounds to me like their embers have grown cold. I've no desire to stay and listen to your justifications. Welp, 2 hours of support reading and recounting of old D&D tales. That's basically what this has been, hasn't it? Okay, is this the last one?
My stomach, so hungry. Skipping breakfast and lunch to focus on my training wasn't the best idea. I know, I'll ask someone to share their food with me. There, I'll ask him. Hey, Saizo.
Yes?
I'm so hungry. Do you have anything that you'd share with me?
If you're hungry, go down to the mess hall.
But that's really, really far away. I don't think I can make it all the way there.
I'm certain that you can.
You don't know for sure. I could die.
That approach may get sympathy from some people, but not from me.
Why would it work with others, but not you?
Other people are kinder, more compassionate than I am.
Saizo, what are you talking about? You think there's some kind of ranking for how helpful people can be? We're all on the same team, so we help each other out. It's simple.
Whatever. This is all I have on me.
Oh great, you do have something. Let's see. Is this a steamed bun?
Correct. I always carry these with me. It may not taste good, but it'll fill you up.
Let's try it.
Nom nom.
Oh, it's good. Really good.
Really? It shouldn't taste that good.
Whew, that hit the spot. Thanks so much, Saizo. You really helped.
You're welcome. Welp. Saizo's more of an asshole than you remember him. I mean, he also does warm up to people more in later supports and such. Yeah, we're done with the freaking supports. We did it. Like 2 hours. My goodness. Do we want to cover like the last like thingamabob here? Just to, you know, have this episode be like half and half of one more DLC grinding mission and, you know, some support. I don't even know. We're doing Museum Mail.